Hi, I'm Leif, and that's Gary. And George is over here on the floor. You can't see him. And today we're writing business plans.
Business plans.
Is it fun?
It's great.
It's
I'm
great.
learning as I go.
Yeah. So Gary called me yesterday, actually texted me and said, hey, I need to write a business plan, so I can't come have lunch with you.
That's correct.
That's not a good friend.
That's not good.
Not a good friend. And so I texted Gary last night and I said, quite literally, did you get your business plan done or did you fuck off all day?
And I fucked off.
It was probably fun.
Well, I didn't fuck off. I had other priorities: house cleaning, cooking, and then UFC.
So basically, he took every meaningless thing he had to do in his life and did it ahead of the most important, which was a business plan to prepare for a better future for himself and his wife.
I would agree.
Agree. Yeah, and instead of me being outside, like tilling and planting clover for the deer, I'm stuck here at this stupid laptop. See, mine's actually an apple for the teacher. Working with Gary, and I'm doing a business plan for myself. I have a business. We do everything for the warehouse.
So what you're saying is I'm helping you.
Yeah, you're helping me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate it. Thanks.
yes. So, yeah. You're welcome.
So what are we working on now? I'm working on detailed of services. How far are you along?
I am on competitor analysis.
So what we found the key to success in a business plan writing is answering the mail. So we're given a template and it says things like competitor analysis. So you put on your paper, you put competitor analysis, right?
Yes.
And then you write.
Start simple, and then you go back in and fill in the blanks.
Who's your biggest competitor, Gary?
The world.
No, I think it's yourself.
It is myself.
Yeah, because you just told me that yesterday your competition beat you and you did laundry and cooked and watched mixed martial arts, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did not find an excuse to win. I found an excuse for everything else but winning. So, today, I'm helping my friend Leif write a business plan, and we're filling in the blanks as we go. We do have a template given to us by the fine folks at the Franklin Business Center in Franklin, Virginia.
Franklin, Virginia.
And one of the short-term goals for the Franklin Business Center and Visceral Industries, my LLC, my wife's LLC, is to occupy a small office space there, which is the whole reason this is a requirement for that the business center requires. So I want to occupy this small office space there to have a meeting area to document, telling our story for social media. So I jumped through the words there, but that's what that is. It's a place where I can set up audio visual.
You said film document, but you're really not, because you're documenting every day when you're out there in the pellet mill.
True.
And living your life, but you need a place to edit and collate that.
Well, I need a place for that, and I need a place for something similar to what we're doing right now.
Right.
You know, a clean environment, if you will, where guys like Leif and some other people that I think very highly of that I learn from and look up to, where we can come in a clean environment and tell our story. And like you said, we're documenting all the time what we do during the course of our day, be it with you installing dock leveling packages at a distribution center, and me trying to fight through the day-to-day stuff at a pellet mill, a wood pellet mill.
Very dusty.
In a horrible environment.
Do you remember the first time I came to see you there and there was a fire?
Yes.
I'm like, Gary, I think I hear a fire alarm. And what did you say?
It's on fire.
No, you said it's the low fuel alarm.
Low fuel alarm, yes.
And I said, there's no way, that's a fire alarm. He's like, no, it's the low fuel alarm. And we walked around the corner, there was a loader on fire.
That was. Yeah.
So it might have been the low fuel alarm, but there was a fire.
Yeah, there was a fire. I forgot about that. We destroyed a very expensive piece of equipment.
It's got to be a $500,000 piece of equipment, at least.
Yeah, and it's parked over in the junkyard now. That was fun.
And we're walking along, and here comes the fire, Franklin's finest, rolling up in their red trucks, and they got the hoses off. It was pretty cool.
That was a fun. We're trying to work through some estimating and products and things that day, and we got to watch a piece of $100,000 piece of equipment, $500,000 piece of equipment burn up. So that was your first experience with us there at the pellet mill.
I was thinking to myself, we should be selling them fire extinguishers.
Yeah, that was
big ones.
Or fire suppression systems for mobile equipment.
Oh, that's a good idea. They have those for boats. They go under the hood and they're automatic.
It's just the same thing with those loaders, and
Do they have them?
the fire suppression system did not work that day.
Oh no.
But we pay a lot of money for those. That's very expensive. But,
I would think Volvo should pay for it.
I can't remember the details of that. That was back when I was a wee lad there, a tadpole, if you will.
So I'm looking at this thing here. It says market position, right?
Yes.
And it's funny because I think about, you know, Kenny.
Yes.
Yeah. So Kenny's cousin Dave used to work over at one of our competitors in Chesapeake, and the owner over there said Southern Material Handling is small potatoes. So marketing position, I'm writing currently we are small potatoes.
Yes.
Market position. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah. But your market share is gaining.
Well, we're hoping to. We're hoping to become the whole bag of Lay's potato chips.
Yeah.
Because you can't eat just one.
No, you cannot. So my motto, and I think you've heard me say this before, but my motto for how I'm getting through this, how I'm getting through really day-to-day things as I'm documenting it, and I heard this several years ago on a Navy SEAL documentary, where they were showing recruits going through just horrible training. Mm-hmm. And it had, you know, these recruits were linked arm in arm, and they were laying on the beach in the surf in freezing cold water that was rushing over their entire bodies. So they were trying to fight that and the conditions and everything. And the whole deal with the instructors were trying to break them, trying to get them to quit, offering them an easy way out. Here, come with me. I'll get you dry. I'll give you food. You know, so they're really, for the bulk, all these instructors are saying, hey, come over here, stop this, come with us, you'll feel better, but you'll never be a SEAL.
They're like the siren song.
Right, exactly. Just the beacon of comfort in an otherwise horrible situation. And their whole thing is, and I've done extensive reading and watching Navy SEALs. They're heroes to me. Their whole thing is they are trying to get you to break. They're trying to get you to take the easy way out. And a lot of them do. Their success rate from a candidate to a graduate is, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but it's very low. So these guys are laying in the surf, and you can tell they're shivering and they're freezing and they're soaking wet, and everything in their existence sucks at that time. And you got all these instructors saying, hey, come on, come with me, we'll make it better, yada yada. And then you have this one instructor saying, find an excuse to win. Because there's 1,000 excuses that we take every day, at least I do, to lose, to
cleaning, cooking,
to find comfort, to find rest, to
UFC.
to find some sort of satisfaction. But it doesn't necessarily equal winning. Now, granted, yesterday I got my house cleaned, clothes washed, and made a big pot of soup, which I brought you some.
I appreciate it. It's in the fridge. We're gonna try it later. A little Parmesan on top.
I used club crackers, fresh them up in there, makes it great. Anyway, all those things were nice and necessary.
I have potato chips. Because I'm working on nothing.
That's right.
Potatoes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So all these things I did yesterday. None of it, and they're all necessary and nice, and these things, and when it was all done, I was comfortable. I had a belly full of soup, and the house was clean, my clothes were washed, and I was laying on the couch watching UFC fights, which is one of my favorite things to do. But I did not. My goal was to get this business plan at least started and get into it somewhere, and then not accomplish any of that. So I did not find an excuse to win.
You didn't even have like business plan written on a piece of paper.
Well, I had this in my hand, so I was starting.
Oh yeah. You picked up the envelope, right?
Well, I read through it briefly, and I've got some notes here on what needs to be done, how it needs to be formatted, and things like that. What it needs to say. So,
how much you have done now?
I would say probably 2%, based on all the things. And
you got the executive summary written.
Yes, I did. Still quite a bit more to do. And you're here giving me tidbits and pushing me along and helping me find an excuse to win this morning.
All right, what's the next
and we're documenting it. I am on competitor analysis.
Right. I'm still back on unique selling.
Well, I'm just kind of going through right now and getting these headers in to where I can go back in and fill in the blanks. So I really want to give this to you.
No, I'm all right. You can keep that because we'll get together again probably Monday or Tuesday night and continue. So I mean, you don't skip ahead. You go through it step by step, and you can keep that. Because I can download that from her website also, right? I can ask her to email it to you.
You can, and I have.
Or you could just email it to me. I have her card.
Okay. So
I went over there to try to get an introduction to somebody and never got it. So it was very sad. I thought I could see it.
who are you looking for?
Actually, I did get it. There was a fertilizer company building up over there by the Money Mailer.
Yeah.
And CW Brinkley did it. And,
so you got the doors on that?
no, we haven't gotten any business out of CW Brinkley yet. I need to go see Mark Brinkley and the guys over there.
What about the guys that, because I think in the business center, high ground electrical contractors occupy most of that, and they're getting ready to move out.
Yeah, they should move out. They've grown beyond that.
Yeah. What have you talked with them about any?
I was in the Department of Transportation had a seminar at ODU, and I was in there with David from High Ground. I met him. I guess we have some synergies, some common core customers that are together. ST Tissue.
Are they a customer of yours?
ST?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do business with lots of different people all across the country, but you still consider yourself small potatoes in this market.
Yeah.
So who are the big fish in your pond for what you do?
You mean my competitors?
Well, you said yourself, you're your competitor, but who has bigger chunks of market share than what you do?
Well, when you look at the doors, our local market leader is Overhead Door.
Right.
Right? And then you've got Arbonne. Arbonne does a lot of doors in the industrial market.
Let's talk about Overhead Door while we're doing this, because I always hear you talking about you're doing business with Amazon and Dollar Tree and ST Tissue and things like, and those are, in my mind, those are big players in the distribution game, manufacturing in this area. So why is Overhead Door, is it branding? Is that why they're ahead of you? Or
It's branding, and they've been in markets
a long time.
Right. And then it's when you think of a large door in a warehouse, you just think of an Overhead Door. The name is there. They got the name. And,
name recognition.
Name recognition is what it is. That's why most people go there. They've been going there for years, and it's converting those buying habits and showing them that you're going to be in the market for a long time. I mean, we've been in this market since 1996 now down in Norfolk area. We've been in business in the States since 1987.
So what are you doing? What are you doing to take some of that market share?
We're doing a facilities and maintenance show.
So it's a local trade show?
Yeah, local trade show. It's up in Hampton this year, and that's always good for us. And then word of mouth. We get a lot of business through word of mouth. We go out and do a good job. We're friendly to deal with. People like to deal with us.
There's no doubt about that. So with what we're doing today, which we're gonna at some point post to YouTube and post to YouTube and multiple platforms. With what we're doing today, would this be something that helps you in your?
It should, especially this part right here. So you're asking already this. What's the marketing plan?
Right.
Yeah, and that's a good question. We don't have that yet. That's what we're working. That's why we're sitting down and doing this extremely tedious process of painstakingly tedious of doing a business plan, is so that we can put together a marketing plan, so that we can go from being small potatoes to being the whole bag of potato chips. Because they're like,
I can't wait for that.
yeah, it's exciting to be potato chips. George wants potato chips. He doesn't give a shit. He's just laying there sleeping.
But it's important. Those are his important things to do today. You need this, don't you? Change the threats.
I don't need it yet. I'm back on market position still.
So when we get an office in the Franklin Business Center, you know, my plan is to put out a show. I'm not sure how, maybe three to four times a week, where we would sit down like we are today. It could be you and I, it could be you and someone else, it could be me and someone else, talking about, it could be hot topics of the day, current events. It could be where we're at in our business planning and our growth as entrepreneurs, or it could be basically a show about anything. So this is the first step in doing that. So what I would want is for, since we are collaborating on this, for lack of a better term, take that office and make that an integral part of your marketing plan. So I want to share that with you, basically.
Excellent.
So that's
Be a great place to go work in hunting season.
true, and it's not far from my 9-to-5 job. But I wanted to make sure that was part of your marketing plan, that you could that would be a part of your marketing plan, just to use that opportunity there.
Well, what happens, Gary, is like you found out yesterday, when you sit down in your own home and try to do work, there's
1,000 distractions. Yeah.
There's nothing for you to clean here. No,
Right,
don't get me wrong, I got some
Right.
projects for you, but there's nothing for you to clean here, so you have the opportunity to focus on what you need to do. And that's the beauty of going to somewhere. A lot of times, you know, I'll go to a Starbucks and work,
Right.
or even a McDonald's, or a local coffee shop, or a faux restaurant, just because there's no distraction.
Right.
And you can just sit there and work. It's nice. So it could be the Franklin Incubator Center would be a great.
That's my plan, and set it up with. I'm not going to go too high end on the audio visual equipment, but get some basics in there where we have decent lighting, decent audio, so you can hopefully hear us better than you can today.
I saw a video on Facebook this morning of a Marilyn like jumping
Right.
behind the boat, and somebody commented, "Wow, that's amazing photography. What kind of video camera did you use?" And the guy said, "Samsung Galaxy 7."
Yep. I mean,
And that's it.
the technology we're filming on your iPhone right now, and I have a Galaxy S5 that I've had for I think 3 years.
I
now.
feel safe that won't catch fire in my house today.
No, this one won't.
that's
No,
safe.
this is pre-flammable.
Non-combustible.
Yeah, non-combustible.
Okay.
So I've had this phone for going on 3 years now, and it's worked amazingly well. And it makes with some of the documentation I've done thus far, it's made great video. So I don't anticipate having to spend a ton of money. I want to get good audio. I don't know how well you can hear us today, but I'm thinking that there's an opportunity for improvement there, and some lighting. But that's my plan for that office. Gracious.
Another friend asked how I said, "Wow, that's a great turkey hunt video. What video camera did you use?" And I said, "I got this really fancy one. I picked it up in Norfolk at a specialty store. It's called at that time it was called the iPhone 6."
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So it's
Very highly specialized.
very highly specialized.
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is if you take a video on your phone, it's super easy to get it to the computer, right?
Yes.
It's easy. If you take a video, like I have this Sony video camera, and if you take a video on that, it is an act of God to get that video onto your laptop.
It's a 12-step program.
Oh, it's a 12-step program to get it to your laptop.
Right.
Exactly. And then when you're done, your laptop data is completely full.
Yeah.
So there's something about the way the phones compress data that's my preferred video. I wouldn't even buy a camera. I would use a phone.
Yeah.
That would be in my business model. It would say all video must be taken with a cell phone.
iPhone.
Or
And you can set it up on
a Sam phone.
Right. Either one. But I have, from what I've read, the audio is there's opportunity for audio, and I'll buy what I need for that, audio and lighting, and then everything else will be
And if
100% filmed on the phone.
you use one of these and not one of those,
Right.
then all the software is already there. You don't have to go buy anything. It's all there. It just came with the computer.
I see.
Yeah.
All the editing software.
All the editing software is on there. I don't know how to
That's
use
on
it,
here.
but I got a couple of teenagers at home that can use it.
Yeah, those kids are.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. How do we ever make it without? How do we grow up and survive without what we have today.
Without the iPhone,
Without
it was great.
cell phone.
Parents never knew where we were.
Oh yeah.
You know, that was good, right?
And there was no documentation of anything.
There was no video of all the stupid shit we did. You know. You ever watch what is it? Is it Teen Wolf where the guy's surfing on the station wagon?
Yes.
Yeah, there was no video of that.
No. And there was no video of me and my drunkenness running naked through downtown and things like that. There was a couple of Polaroids that I found and destroyed, but
well, the nice thing about Polaroid is once you destroy it, it's gone.
yes,
When you destroy it on the laptop, it's not gone unless it's emails in a presidential campaign,
that's true.
and then they're gone.
That's true.
They can't find them anywhere.
No, they
They're
phantoms.
They're gone.
Yeah.
So it says here, value to customer, quick response, follow up and follow through are good values, right?
Yes.
And then, I mean, how many times have you had somebody come fix something and you need something else and like 3 weeks go by and you don't get a quote? Happens too often, doesn't it?
It does happen. Yeah.
It sucks, doesn't it?
And that's one of the first steps
Oh, I see.
in making that sale, right?
Right. Yeah, you gotta quote it.
Yeah,
You gotta quote it to get it.
Right, right. You come out, you take the time to drive out in your truck, take time of your day to drive out and see me, and you inhale some wood fiber.
Yeah.
So you do all the hard stuff.
Hacking, coughing,
Yeah.
phlegm.
Get your trusty tape measure out and measure and look with a flashlight and write stuff down and do sketches. Right.
Trusty tape measure.
And then I never hear from you again when it comes to that.
And it's hard to make a sale that way. Isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So I think it should be here. Unique selling position. All quotes within 24 hours.
I wouldn't go that. That's asking a lot of yourself.
80% of quotes.
Yeah.
'Cause there are a few where
You're gonna have to do some figuring, sharpen your pencil on some of them. That's a little bold to go 24 hours.
so, and then I would say on the other 20%, you either have a quote within a week or a follow-up meeting.
Sure. Communication channels. We're listening to some classic rock in the background.
Pink Floyd
Yes.
on 106.9 The Fox. You know why it's 106.9 The Fox?
Why's that?
Because they have the baddest ass transmitter of
Yes,
any
they
radio
do.
station.
Yes.
You could I swear you could hear the Fox on the moon.
We are in
Como.
northeastern North Carolina.
Como, North Carolina.
Right, and we spend time here in southeastern Virginia, and I swear you can pick up their signal in Southern California if you tune your radio just right.
You can hear it the whole way to Richmond on 64.
Wow.
Up in Mechanicsville.
I doubt out here that you can get many other radio signals out here.
Yeah,
Because
there's a couple of Carolina country stations.
Yeah, you're deep out here. So that you've been in business for 20 years now? What is it?
No, it's not
21?
No, 2001, so it's 15.
15 years.
I've been in business for 15.
And that goes to show you that
You can make it 15 years without a business.
that's what I was getting to. You've made it 15 years without a business plan.
But it's kind of painful writing this, and I'll tell you why. Because your company background and you're writing here, in 2005 we added field service in-house, and we bought our first field service truck in 07, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in 2011 we'd grown to 3 service trucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in 2017 we still have 3 service trucks.
So it's
So that's what is that? A 2-year stagnation?
yeah. I could see where in your case, it would be not only painstaking sitting here typing this stuff out on a Sunday morning, Super Bowl Sunday, if you will, but I can imagine where it's painful for me knowing that I've had on paper an LLC for 2.5 years now, and I've really done nothing with it.
You sold something to make $50.
Yeah, I might have.
That
I might
was-
have generated $500 in profit total.
Well, that's pretty good.
I mean, it's nothing.
No,
It was. There might have been.
it's a month and a half self.
There might have been 4 hours of work involved for that, and that was baseline effort. So it's painful for me. I can imagine it would be painful for you. It's kind of documenting. Obviously, you found an excuse to win many times over the last 16 years. But I can see where it would be documenting some gaps as well.
It's helpful, but it's painful. It's painful because you think you're doing okay, but you lay it out on paper, and you're not doing that great. I mean, you're doing better than most, and you're succeeding. But at the same time, you realize that had you taken time to focus 10 years ago, where would you be?
Do you think doing this 10 years ago?
Oh, it would have made a huge difference.
Wow.
You know, but it's not just building the business plan. First, you got to make the plan, then you got to work the plan.
Right.
And you got to come back and rewrite the plan.
That's one of the things that one of my heroes, Gary Vaynerchuk, he talks about ideas and plans, and they're great.
Who's Gary Vaynerchuk?
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
When you said Vaynerchuk,
Vaynerchuk. Yeah. He's we'll do some research together one day.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah. Gary Vaynerchuk. One of his things is he talks about
woodchuck if a Vaynerchuk could chuck wood.
Perhaps, yeah, same Vaynerchuk. He's a Russian immigrant, Jewish Russian immigrant.
They're the baddest ass. Immigrants get it done.
Yeah, they do.
Immigrants get it done.
He talks about that. He talks about a lot of things that he struggled with growing up in life. One of his things are,
Do you think Trump shut off immigration because he's scared of competition? Because immigrants get things done. If you think about it, it's that first generation immigrant. Those guys, they come here with nothing. They don't even have this empty water bottle, and they're living in nicer houses than us, driving nicer cars, right?
Yes.
I won't say they have more beautiful wives because nobody's wife is more beautiful than mine.
Except for maybe mine.
Well, that's your opinion,
All right.
And so
I had to say that.
Yeah. So there you have it. It's fear of competition.
Where's the competition? Who are they competing? Who are those people competing against?
You and me.
No.
There they are.
Well, they're doing
because you were cleaning your house yesterday. They didn't have a house to clean,
right.
So they were out working, making money.
I would not say that they are competing against me because they're doing things that, quite frankly, I'm not willing to do. I did them growing up. I worked in the fields growing up, but would I do that now?
But a lot of those immigrants, some are working in the fields, but some are coming in already with a business education. And some are coming in. You got some guys. Maybe they come in to work at a restaurant down at the beach, right? And they get off.
I don't know that it's a business education as much as it is a hunger and a hustle.
I think it's the hunger and hustle the most.
Yeah, I think because that's what you see. I have Indian friends and some other people that weren't born in this country that didn't have the opportunities that we had growing up. Now, granted, they weren't necessarily coming from absolute poverty, but they didn't have the technology and things that we had growing up. But they are much farther along with what they've had to work with than I'll ever be because they're hungrier than I am and they hustle more than I am.
All right, so let's go back to where are we at now?
I'm on.
But you just put the headings. Now you got to fill them in.
And I don't know if that's going to happen today, but I'm just.
So let's go back and start filling them in. That's what we need to do. So where are we? Let's go to the first one you didn't fill in. That's a lot of pages.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there we are. Company background. So you got that.
I don't know that that's done. That's not done. I've got more to add there, but that's
So then the company was started. You registered your LLC when?
July of 2000.
Type.
If it's not
trying to show me up. You know what the ocean inspector said?
What's that?
It's not documented. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm looking forward to is ocean inspectors that actually work with us as team players to make the workplace safer, not to work as used car salesmen to make money for themselves.
You need to apply for the volunteer protection.
We're in it.
VPP.
We're in it. It's a fantastic program.
So then they should be working with you.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do. But for the most, especially the federal OSHA guys, they're not out. They don't give a shit. They just want to make money and break balls.
Yeah, some of that. Yeah.
I think they're.
But I think that the OSHA STAR program and the VPP program, I think they help you and they're worthwhile to be in those programs.
I can only take so much being on video. You got 26 minutes now.